Hi guys. So I finally have the money to be able to get the carburetor rebuild kit. And I may have somebody to help me with it, who knows. But guess what? I just came home a little while ago to a note on my RV saying that I have to move it within 48 hours or they're going to impound it. It's been sitting in this spot for 4 months. Something like that. 5 months it's been sitting here. Nobody's had a problem with it. Now all of a sudden it's a big deal. And cops have been passing by constantly, all the time, obsessively for the last 4 or 5 months. Why is it a big deal now? Well, there was a new neighbor that moved in. Maybe the new neighbor decided to call them on me. Which is funny because we haven't had any problems. Now, the people that were cleaning out the house and doing all that stuff said that I could use the plugins over there until somebody moved in. And when somebody moved in and I knew they moved in, I removed my stuff from over there. And I let him know I wouldn't be plugging it in over there anymore, which he formally announced that we are going to have a security system over here immediately. So don't be plugging your stuff in over here because I can't afford your electricity every month. Which is probably like $15 at the most. That's like at the most. It's probably like $5 fucking a month. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. The fact that I told him I was planning on not having my stuff here as soon as somebody moved in, and I have some plugins I can use down the street that are a little bit further, which is why I asked the people that were fixing up the house if it was okay if I used the plugins, and they told me it was fine. Nobody mentioned that you were moving in today, or I wouldn't have even had them over here. It's about the only thing I could think of besides maybe the fact that I started mentioning things about the cops stalking me and harassing me and shit again, which I haven't mentioned since last year. And biggest reason I haven't mentioned it is because I was like, if you leave me alone, I will leave you alone. And they left me alone for a little while. And then the last couple months, they have started doing the same shit they've done for the last 3 fucking years. Oh, sorry, it's getting closer to 4 years at this point. So I'm trying to look on the bright side of this, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Have 2 days to figure it out. I've been trying to find somebody to tow me out of here with the chain for the last month and a half, 2 months. Can't seem to find anybody to help with that. Which is kind of ridiculous, honestly. But I have faith that everything that's happening right now is happening the way that it's supposed to happen. And I mean, what are they going to do? Throw me and my 2 dogs and my 2 cats all on the fucking sidewalk and take my car or take my home to their impound lot? And then what? Are they going to start going through all my stuff in it and pretending like it isn't a house that somebody lives in and treating it instead like it's a car and they don't need a warrant to be getting into it? Is that their next plan of action? Because that's not okay either. The dirty shit that happens in this town on an all-the-time basis, pretty messed up. And some of the best people in this town that constantly get harassed and thrown under the bus, people who are actually willing to help, people who are actually willing to be kind to people, people who are actually willing to, even after they get in a fight with somebody, not throw them out from in front of their house, because they know they have nowhere to go, regardless of people that are constantly trying to get them to disregard that and call the cops on me. The owner of the house I'm staying across the street from has not, that I know of. Actually, he has a few other people that are over here that have nowhere else to go to. Some of them with jobs, some of them not with jobs. It's amazing the level of hatred there is in this town for homeless people. Amazing the level of hatred there is in this town and this whole country for homeless people. I really hope some of those people, for their own good, end up getting to experience what it's like to be in my shoes at some point in the near future. That they really get to understand it from my perspective and see what it's really like. Since they want to constantly call the cops on people and constantly push them out of the town they're living in. Push them out of the only homes they have to live in, even if they are a vehicle. Do you have nothing better to do in your lives besides be bitter and upset that people are hurting? Or that people can't afford rent in a house that is $1,300 fucking dollars around here? While the minimum wage in this state is $7.50. And granted, yeah, there's a few higher paying jobs around here now. And at the same time, a couple years ago, not one of them would hire me for anything because they told me I wasn't good enough. And now that my things have started paying off, I'm not taking my energy away from my things to put it on that crap. There's no way. And honestly, the universe didn't want me to do it then either, which is why I didn't get one then, because they wanted me focused on and working on the things that were most important in my life, which included my children and what I've been working on for my purpose. And I have done about 97% of it completely on my own over the last couple of years. There's been a few people who have helped out once or twice or, 10 times. A fair amount of them have been people who were literally just looking to take advantage of me in the position that I was in. Quite literally. Several of them. But there have been a few that were actually really good people who have actually helped me out. It's pretty sad to think that 1% of the population is what would help somebody in that position. And the other 99% of the population is geared towards fear, division, hatred. Non-understanding. No compassion, no empathy, no care, no concern. Selfishness and hatred of others for their differences or for their inability to be able to provide for themselves because of whatever it happens to be that they've gone through. Whether it be somebody had a house fire and lost everything they owned in it, or whether it be moving to a new state with your husband, having no family, no friends, no nothing around, and then splitting up with your husband and having nowhere to go while he gets to move in with his family because his brother was selling us his house and then went back on his word and decided he wanted his house back. Even after telling us that all the payments we were making to him for rent every month were going to go towards a down payment on that house at some point so we could get a loan for it and buy it from him. Sad, really, isn't it? And when he did that, me and his brother took about 2 years to get out of that house. We took our sweet ass time because we were like, you know what? We don't even have to give this house back to him. If we went to court right now, this would be our house. Of course, he doesn't want to do that, because it's his brother, it's family. We can't turn on family. And so we didn't do nothing like that, but we could have. If we so chose to do something like that, we could have. And we would have won. And we could have had the house, which is also why his brother did not push it when we took 2 years to get out of there after he asked for it back. So, for 1 year of that 2 years, we were separated and we lived in the same house together. Us and our kids. I lived in the other bedroom that we had, the guest bedroom that we had a few other people living in while we were there too, to help them get on their feet. And then I got my RV so that I could have a bed while I was homeless, so that I would be more comfortable in my space while I was homeless. Granted, comfortable is an overstatement, considering there's been there's been a lot of times where I haven't had heat and I haven't had air conditioning ever. It hits the early hundreds here for a lot of days in the summer, and it hits the teens and the teens below zero here a lot in the winter. Not to mention all the other things anyway. I've had a hard enough time as it is, without everybody fucking attacking me at every turn. Because they think I'm what? Evil? Lazy? Who the fuck knows what they think I am? But they don't know me. They don't even know that I've had problems a lot with being a workaholic. I don't spend much time with other addictions, numbing my emotions or anything like that, or but work is one of those things that I have definitely used to distract myself from things at times, and I've really had to tone it back at times. This is a tiny little town with 20 fucking churches in it. And some of the most hateful people. Really. Some of the most judgmental people. Oh, except for the ones that don't go to those churches. Like I've mentioned thousands of times before on my channel, generally the ones that have helped me out have not been the ones in those churches. The majority of the people that have helped me out is other homeless people. Or other people who have been before, which is mostly addicts and alcoholics, or ex-addicts and ex-alcoholics. Yeah, that's the majority of the people who have helped me out in the position I'm in when I've needed help. And a lot of those people have also had the cops harassing them, ticketing them, constantly watching them, or constantly trying to pick fights with them so that they can get them in trouble and put them in jail for even helping out people. And then there's one guy that's homeless, and he's like, oh, the cops are actually on our side. It's the people in town. And that's great. If it's the people in town, well, you know what? Where are the people that are going to stand up and fight against that? For one thing. For another thing, no. Because the only one in town that hasn't had to move is you. For 3 years now, I've been living out here, and that guy has sat in the same fucking parking spot and has never had to move. Ever had to move. And yet, everyone else has, including people who have sat in that same parking lot that he's sitting in right now. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Pretty sad, if you ask me. Me personally, I'm just going to try to let this go. I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to get a hold of a couple people. If nothing pans out, nothing pans out. But I know that my Divine Mother and my Divine Father have my back. And at this point, they should all know too. So trust me when I say there will be divine retribution. There will be justice brought in for myself and for those who are targeting me constantly like that. I've watched some of it take place. There's been people actually, there were like 2-3 months ago, there was like 6 or 7 people within a week that came and asked me if I had been cursing and hexing people. No, I don't do that. I don't at all. But I do protective magic. I do cleansing. I do energy healing on myself. I do releasing. I do return to sender to get anybody's energy, negativity, or black magic or anything away from me and back to them. And actually, a lot of times I transmute it instead. Instead of sending it back. It just depends on the day. And it depends on how much energy I got of my own at that moment. I pray for them. I ask for them to find healing. I ask for them to have strength as they're going through whatever lessons they need to go through. I forgive them. And I try to hold space for love in my heart for them and release any kind of hate or negativity or toxicity. I just try to live and let live, and I wish more people could live that way, where they could live and let live, instead of running around destroying the lives of others around them when they could just be living theirs. Thank you guys for listening today, and I really hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. And if you guys feel like this story is an important story, share this story. Share it far and wide. Because there has been a lot of people that have been reduced to living in their vehicles or living in their RVs over the last couple years, especially since COVID hit. And I've watched this city from the moment COVID hit. When COVID hit, they shut down the showers they used to have at the fairgrounds that the homeless people in town that had been living here for a really long time homeless used to use. And there were some people that were like, well, I heard they were leaving them really dirty and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, really? Because the one lady that was using them all the time, I watched her over there with a fucking toothbrush scrubbing out those outhouses because she couldn't stand looking at them, let alone going to the bathroom in them with them looking like that. And it wasn't the people that were homeless that were making them look like that. It's the teenagers that live around here that have absolutely no respect for the homeless people or for other people's property because their parents don't teach them none. Their parents teach them to hate the homeless. Their parents teach them to do stuff to try to make it look like the homeless is doing it, or to scapegoat others with their actions, because there's a lot of that in this town. Or to throw fucking rocks at the homeless guy in his tent. What kind of shit is that? Pretty fucking sad, if you ask me. I know I was going to go, but then I started talking again. And you know what? It's just fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Right when COVID hit, they shut down those showers. They also did not have soap in any of the fucking bathrooms at any of the stores or any of the fucking gas stations here for about 6 months after COVID hit. Yet none of us died from COVID. None of us even got it, which is really funny, right? It's amazing. Then, on top of that, they shut down the weekly trailer park that was right near the fairgrounds as well. A lot of the people that were probably using the showers at the fairgrounds were probably staying at that weekly RV park that they shut down. When there's already a lot of people around here having a hard time finding a place to stay regularly with how high the rents can get sometimes. Now you're going to shut down some of the places people are living because you don't want more homeless people here. And then they made the parking lot that has been free parking as long as anybody around here can remember, where not only people that live in town have parked their vehicle there at times when they have nowhere to go, but also people that are passing through town as tourists around here have stayed overnight a lot of times. They made that no parking overnight. And then I know what the laws on RVs are around here, but apparently they don't, because they have spouted off several different ways the laws work. But either way, doesn't matter where I go, every time I go anywhere, this ends up happening. I was actually really surprised that I got to stay here as long as I did. And I was like, oh, so what? The only place I'm allowed to stay in town is in front of a fucking pedophile's house? So my kids can't even come over? Or not like they used to anyway? It's pretty ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, guys. Everyone needs to be able to live. Everyone needs to be able to take care of themselves, and I'm doing the best to be able to take care of myself that I can at the moment. And every time everything starts to look up for me and everything starts to do good for me, just like this last year when they threw me out of the fucking park, I was doing really fucking good at that point. Really good at that point. Start doing really good here against all odds. And now they're going to throw me out of here too. Well, this time, they're not going to take away my doing good. Because I'm just going to continue to rise. All of us are. We can dance in the rain. We can enjoy this beautiful day, regardless of their bullshit, their drama, their chaos, and their crap. Because that's all it is crap. And their crap's not going to take me out. It hasn't yet. I'm still standing after all this time. Da 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 da. Oh. And I'm feeling good. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Yep. This transformation is going to bring some good shit. It may bring some stressful days for the next few days, and it may bring some bad shit. And honestly, I really fucking hope I don't lose everything I fucking own in the next couple days. Including my animals, apparently. But I'm just going wherever they're taking me. And sometimes it's not the funnest ride in the world, guys. Let me tell you. When you're just going with wherever the hell Spirit's taking you. But it's amazing the grace you receive in some of the worst situations ever that happens to pop out of nowhere and tends to really work out at the very last minute in ways you never expected it to. Anyway. Once again, thank you guys for listening. Share this message. Share this message. Spread this word. It's an important topic that people need to start discussing and people need to start looking at. People need to find that love in their hearts again instead of the coldness. And I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys.